Okay, so this is accrued income video. If you've watched the accrued expenses one, you'll see this is a very similar format. I just want to show you how similar it is. Still applying the accruals concept, so we are matching income to the correct accounting period. So we're following the same steps as if we were doing accrued expense. The first thing, opening balance. So if we've got an opening accrual, so if we were owed money at the beginning of the year, this is going to be different here because we're owed money, so therefore it's an asset, it's money we're going to gain. So the opening balance is on the debit. So we'd have a balance brought down or balance brought forward on the debit. If we've received money in advance, that means we've received money for goods or services that we haven't provided for yet, so it's a liability. So the opening balance will go on the credit side of the T account. The bank figure, it's income, so it's going to be on the opposite side to expenses, so it's going to be on the credit, and again, label it bank. Can I just stress at this stage, sometimes learners just go, oh, just be the opposite of what I've learned for expenses. Now that's great if you know the expenses, but otherwise you can just confound a mistake, get your logic, why a figure's going in a certain place, and you're more likely to get these right. Closing balance, so will we owe money at the end of the year? So again, you're going to have a balance brought down underneath the total on the debit, then carried down on the credit. Or do we have a closing prepayment? So the balance carried down will be on the debit and the closing balance brought down on the credit. We will have an income statement figure as our balancing entry. Well, that would normally be on the debit side of the T account. So we'd have an income statement figure on the debit side, which balances, which will therefore go to the credit side of the income statement. So let's look at a past paper question to show you how this works. So this particular question is from the A2 June 2022 paper 1. So if you want to do the question first and then give it a go and see where he got on, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through how you would tackle it. So what we've got here, we're owed £860 at the beginning of the financial year. So we've been told the year ends the 31st of March 2022. So if we're owed money on the 1st of April 2021, that's an asset. So we're going to have a debit opening balance. Rent receivable paid into the bank is 13,900. Can I just clarify this, that you cannot change the bank figure. You don't change that number, you just put it in the T account, and we make adjustments for accruals and prepayments later. Sometimes students will manipulate the figures. No, the amount that's gone into the bank is the amount that's gone into the bank. So that 13,900 will go on the credit side of the rent receivable account, labeled bank. At the end of the year, we've had a refund of £500. So we've paid a refund to Halpine. By Halpine is the company. So the label for that could be bank, is the most logical because we're paying money out of the bank account. So we've got on the debit side of the rent receivable, the credit side of the bank of 500, and we'll look at the mark scheme and see the alternative presentation in a moment. Included is £2,730, which covers the 3 months ending the 31st of May 2022. So we are the 31st of March 2022. So if we look at it, we've got March, April, May. So 2 months of that 2,730 relates to next year. So we have a prepayment to the equivalent of 2 months. So that is £1,820, which means we have a closing prepayment. So we have a balance brought down on the credit of 1,820, then the carried down within the T account of 1,820 on the debit. And then we balance it to the income statement, and that is how we get the 5 marks. But let's show on the mark scheme. So you've got the mark scheme here. So the balance brought down, 1 mark 860. You can see that the bank has got a star next to it. That's because you need to get the bank figure here, 13,900, and on the debit side, 500. You have to get both of those to get the mark. Because if you put them both on the same side, you're saying that a refund of money going in goes on the same side. That shows you don't really understand and you're guessing. So you get both of those for a mark. The 1,820, you can see has got a W1 next to it, which if you look in the workings, award 1 mark for the calculation of 1,820. Which is broken down here. And so if you got it on the wrong side, you would still get a mark for identifying that it was 1,820. If you used either one of the figures, so 910, which would be 1 month of the figures, or just the whole 2,730 and put it as a prepayment, they're actually going to give you a mark for putting it on the right side. So if you put carried down and brought down for one of the wrong figures, it shows you can put a prepayment in the account properly. It shows you worked it out wrong. Maybe you checked the months wrong. The balancing figure, the income statement, 10,720. It's got to be on the debit. It's got on the credit side of the income statement, but it is a balancing figure. So often, like we've said previously, if it's mathematically correct and it balances into the account, you'd still get the mark. We've got here about the labeling. You could put BAL or instead of balance and IS instead of income statement. But that is how you'd gain the 5 marks for this particular question. So good luck.